Now, getting into the more exciting parts, we've got the front gearbox assembly, bag C. This will be actually the entire front end. So let's dive right into it. I'm liking the look of it so far. Labeled front. Easy access diffs. Looks like it'll take 4 screws. Don't quote me on that, but it looks like it'll be about 4 screws to be able to get out your front diff. So, and it should be the same with the rear as well. Wow. Wow. Very hard, sturdy A-arms. These things are going to take quite the beating. But they will be set to the side for now because we do not need them yet. Right now, all I need are the drive shaft parts. Carbon fiber shock tower. We'll get to that later. Love seeing carbon fiber included in this kit. For now though, let's dive into the front drive shaft. Center front drive shaft. Nice red anodizing on these parts. Aluminum hexes included in the kit. Just like that. Front drive shaft is put together. It doesn't get more simple. It doesn't get simpler than that. Okay, now to install your center drive shaft into the diff case itself. You want to take your small bearing, put it on the outside, snap it in there. And take your larger bearing, place it on the inside, and snap it in there. There we go. You got both bearings in bottom and the top. Now you just run your drive shaft through the front side and install the gear onto the flat spot of the axle. Now it calls out in the manual, but make sure you use Loctite on the screw going into the pinion gear onto the universal. If you don't use Loctite, it could back out and destroy your diff. You don't want that. Goes without saying, you don't want that. So blue Loctite is all you need. Just a little dab of it, and you'll be set to go for a long time. Nice tight tolerances. It's a little tight right now, but that'll break in. That'll just wear in with part wear, and you'll be good to go. I'm liking it so far. This part is more exciting. Now I need my front diff from bag A. I get to install. Make sure you have the orientation of the gears right, otherwise it will not turn well. All it takes is 2 screws to hold this diff case on for now. There will be a couple more coming in from the bottom when you install it to the chassis. Gears feel nice. Now, next step is the shock tower, the front carbon fiber shock tower. Looks pretty nice in the package. Let's get it out of the package. Wow, nice. Let's see how thick it is. 4mm thick front shock tower. That'll take some beatings. Very stiff, but very light. Alright, now that all the ball studs and shock hardware is bolted on, I can bolt this to the diff case, the shock tower, using 3x10mm screws. Alright, that is looking really nice so far. Now, I must warn you of a misprint here. At this point in the manual, it says you need a 3x10mm screw, but you've just used all your 3x10mm screws. Here it says you need a 3x8. I would go with a 3x8 because you do not have it. I don't have any 3x10s left. There's a little error in the printing. And the kit manual recommends to stick with the 0-degree eccentric bushings, which is what I'm going to do because I'm building this to almost kit spec. I'm installing the pivot block now for the A-arms. Aluminum black anodized pivot. Now that I got the pivot block on the right side, we'll install the A-arms. There is they are specifically labeled left and right, so pay attention to that if you build this kit. Let's finish tightening down these 2 screws. Your A-arms will be installed, and then you can install the front bumper with 2 3x8mm screws. A-arms are nice and free. Thank goodness. Yeah. I like it a lot. Now just your little bumper will be held in on with 2 screws. With that, first half of bag C is done, minus the sway bars. It includes a 1.3mm sway bar for the front and 1.2 in the rear. The options range from 1.1 to 1.8 in the front and close to the same in the rear. Alright, now that our mounts are put together, we're going to install the sway bar itself. Alright, sway bars are installed. You can't adjust them until you get your CV, until you get your caster blocks on and steering knuckles. That is the next step, is the steering block assembly, so let's move on to that. First off, we're going to do exactly the same thing we did with the center drive shaft earlier. Okay, now that you have those ready to go, you're going to install the bearings into each camber block, or caster block, or steering, each steering block, and install the universals. Quick tip, these caster blocks and steering blocks are very difficult to get together. It's easier if you take the CVD out, you get more room. But they are a challenge to get together. Alright, now I finally get to install it onto the car. Those are in close enough that I can adjust on the car. Now that the camber links are at the correct setting, I can put shocks on. Perfect. Alright, we'll call that a day. The entire front end of the car is ready to be installed. That was all of bag C of the LC Racing LC10B5 kit build. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Slow Ben, out of here.